Welcome back to Movie Mojo. Today we are going to review the real-life drama film, Dark Waters. If you enjoy our content, don't forget to like and subscribe. We upload multiple times daily. Spoilers ahead. Robert Belote, Mark Ruffalo, a corporate defense lawyer in Cincinnati, Ohio, works in 1998. Farmer Wilbur Tennant, Bill Camp, a friend of Robert's grandmother, shows up one day at the office with boxes of videotapes and asks Robert for help. Although Robert doesn't have time for him, he later travels to Parkersburg, West Virginia, to visit Wilbur and then his grandmother. Wilbur provides him with proof of how all 190 of his cows died, displaying symptoms of an odd and mysterious sickness, including videotapes he's recorded and still existing cow parts. Since his brother had been working for them disposing of waste, he is aware that it has to do with the large company DuPont, which has a plant in the community. Robert approaches Tom Turp, Tim Robbins, his supervisor, and asks if he may take the case, promising him that it will only be a minor side task. Tom agrees grudgingly. At a gathering for lawyers, Robert brings up the subject with Phil Donnelly, a DuPont lawyer, Victor Garber, who kindly replies that he is not familiar with the specifics but will assist in any way he can. In order to learn more about the chemicals that have been dumped on the site, Mark launches a modest lawsuit. After failing to uncover anything helpful, he thinks that it's likely that the substance that killed Wilbur's cattle was something that the EPA doesn't even control. Phil lashes out at him and calls him a hick when he is pressed about the matter at an awards banquet. DuPont sends Robert hundreds of boxes of paperwork in the hopes that he won't uncover anything when Robert uses legal means to compel the company to turn over its information. He looks through each file one at a time until he finally finds a reference to a substance called PFOA that he is unable to locate any information on. He keeps browsing through the papers. Robert's expectant wife Sarah, Anne Hathaway, discovers him digging through their pans and ripping the carpet off the floors in the middle of the night. She believes him to be crazy when he says they are being poisoned, but then he explains what he discovered in the DuPont documents. A synthetic substance called PFOA-C8 is used to make Teflon. It was developed for army tanks, but corporations have now begun using it in American houses. For many years, DuPont has tested its effects on humans, animals, and even its own staff. Their own research demonstrates that it caused cancer in people and animals, as well as birth abnormalities in the offspring of women who worked on their line, yet they remained silent about it. Then, from Wilbur's farm, they released hundreds of gallons of toxic sludge upriver. Meanwhile, Wilbur has been outcast by the whole neighborhood for suing their largest company. He becomes more ill after his home is broken into. Wilbur refuses to accept the payment DuPont is giving once Robert approaches him with the facts because he wants justice and does not want to keep quiet. He admits to Robert that both he and his wife have cancer. Robert drafts a brief with all the DuPont evidence and sends it, among other places, to the EPA and Department of Justice since he feels bad. Robert also gets Wilbur the compensation. EPA imposes a $16.5 million fine on DuPont. Residents of Parkersburg get a letter from DuPont informing them that PFOA is present in the water, but in safe levels. After receiving the letter, Darlene Keeger, Mayor Winningham, and her husband go to meet Robert, with Darlene recalling the Teflon flu that her previous husband contracted while working in the same plant. Before turning 40, she had to undergo a hysterectomy as well. Robert chooses to lead a class action case against DuPont beginning with the Keegers. He wants a settlement and medical management for Parkersburg residents, which means DuPont will have to oversee and manage their medical treatment. The partners at the law firm object in a meeting because they believe that going after a company that they would typically be defending will damage the firm's reputation. Tom reprimands them severely, insisting that this is the proper course of action. Since PFOA is not regulated, Robert and local attorney Harry Dietzler, Bill Pullman, argue that DuPont is responsible because the amount in the water was higher than the 1 part per billion their internal documents argued to be safe. Robert brings the class action to court in Charleston, West Virginia to secure medical monitoring. DuPont asserts in court that a recent study they conducted determined that 150 parts per billion were safe. Robert is horrified, the villagers start to oppose DuPont, and the incident becomes national headlines. DuPont consents to pay a $70 million settlement. An impartial scientific review is set up to investigate the effects of PFOA because they are only legally allowed to provide medical surveillance if researchers can show that the condition is caused by PFOA. If they rule in DuPont's favor, they will demand payment. Nearly 70,000 people donate blood to the study after being told by the company that they can receive their settlement money after doing so in order to gather data for it. Years pass as the study produces no findings. Wilbur passes away, the Keeger family experiences local harassment, and Robert experiences severe financial hardship because he spent the entire case working under the promise of the payment and is still working on it while paying scientific specialists. At the company, he has endured numerous pay cuts, and his relationship with Sarah is tense. Robert falls and begins to tremble as Tom tells him he must take another wage cut. The medical professionals inform Sarah that he had an ischemia, or mild stroke, and that he needs to start taking new medication and cease being so stressed out. Sarah encourages Tom to quit making Robert feel inadequate because he has helped those who needed it. 7 years after the panel's initial meeting, the scientific review finally gets in touch with Robert and informs him that PFOA is a known cause of numerous cancers and other illnesses. Rob learns that DuPont is breaking every provision of the contract when he is having dinner with his family. He is furious and claims that Wilbur informed him there was no justice and that he didn't trust him. Rob makes the decision to present each defendant's case to DuPont separately. Rob successfully sued DuPont for 3 multimillion-dollar settlements, according to a postscript text, and DuPont ultimately agreed to a $671 million payout. Thousands of chemicals are still unregulated, and PFOA is still present in the blood of 99% of all life on Earth. Thank you for watching and don't forget to like and subscribe.